Colin Peterik. The Peterik name may ring a few bells. He is the son of rock legend Jim Peterik. He is also a college graduate of Columbia College, the celebrated audio and arts program. Has already toured the U.S. with various bands as OK Go, Alan Parsons Project, the Steve Miller Band. That's without a debut album yet. You've built your very own studio and venue called the Jam Lab. And Colin will see the release of his debut full-length record. It's called Everything and Nothing, and it comes out tomorrow. So
Yes.
yeah, it's got to be, man. It's got finally, right?
Oh my God. It's so many years in the making. It's just unbelievable that it's actually finally happening. It's like I haven't even processed it yet.
That's
But
cool.
thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely. It's an absolute pleasure. I got a chance to listen to this record. I don't even know how to describe. I'll quote you. If the Beatles, Steely Dan, and Genesis had a baby, it would be called Colin Peterik. And that's pretty good. I mean, that nails it pretty good. I love that, but I would add a little bit even. I hear a like Seals and Crofts Ambrosia type of adult contemporary. I hear a Maroon 5 style soulful hip hop. There's so many facets to this record. And it's just, it's that Steely Dan warm blanket for sure. It's a really cool vibey record. um and you grow up with Jim Peterik as a dad. You got to think that that exposure to what he does and all of the things that he's done in his career has to have an influence on you. But I also, looking at your music and the way you are, the way you present yourself, you found a lot of it you're on your own, I think. How did your upbringing influence what you have on this record?
Well, yeah, I mean, my dad introduced me at a very young age to all the great oldies, Everly Brothers, the Beatles, Elvis, Buddy Holly and the Crickets, all this great rock and roll, Motown and stuff. And so my palate was kind of just like hungry for that type of music from a very young age. And we would listen to the top 40 radio sometimes on the way to school, and we just liked listening to the oldies better, because the songs were better. and and that kind of led me down this path of like, hey, you don't have to listen to the newest things. There's a lot of great new music, sure, but I discovered progressive rock, and it's like a extreme wealth of there's so much to dive into when you get down these little subcategories or subgenres. I discovered King Crimson in high school, and the next thing I knew, I was digesting, Caravan, Gentle Giant, Camel, ELP, all this great progressive rock. And then from there, I kind of took a left turn. I'm like, oh, there's this band called Steely Dan. Well, they're kind of cool. They're not progressive, but they're doing lots of cool stuff with their arrangements and their lyrics and their production. So that really turned me around too musically. So, music, it's like a pinball machine. You never know where you're going to go, and it's all good.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you look at this room and you look behind me, I have all this music and it's all different. And that's the beauty of it. For me, is all these sounds, and you give that to us through your music, I think.
Yeah.
It's not, of course, it's not everything, but what you do well. And there's all of these little facets of all those influences pop out. It's a really fun listen. I really enjoyed hearing different things. You write, produce, play. Do you do it all? Are you playing everything? I see a band on the website.
Yeah.
Who was involved in the record? Did Dad help with the record at all, or how did the record come together?
So the record is kind of a big compilation of some of my favorite things that I've been writing over the past 9 or 10 years. And I haven't, I have to write no matter what. Sometimes I don't have a band, I don't have a project, but I'm still writing. It's like I'm just kind of writing and putting them in the bookshelf for a rainy day or when the opportunity presents itself. Well, flashback to 2020, the worldwide pandemic, and I started twiddling my thumbs, like, what am I going to do this whole time? So I'm like, I'm going to take my best material. I'm going to put a shiny layer of shellac on them all. I'm going to re-sing everything. I'm going to tweak the lyrics. I'm going to put it out as an album, 12 song, LP. And I'm going to get it, mixed. I'm going to do proper promotion. I'm going to do everything I can to really put this beast in motion. And so yeah, the album was self-produced largely. I played drums on about half the tracks, and the other half is various guests and bandmates. And then when it came time when we're out of the pandemic and it came time to promote the album, do some shows, I called up some of my best friends and I whipped a band together, and they said yes, luckily. So very fortunate to have them, and it's great. Working, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. So I'm very fortunate to have my band now. Although it was a cool experience doing the record, mostly on my own the first time, but I'm excited in the future to have a band to collaborate with me on it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fantastic. And the songwriting process for you, obviously, to harken back to your dad again, and I want to get to that. In doing that, I don't like to do that, but he's a songwriter. Where did you learn your chops songwriting? It can't be a genetic thing, right? Because these songs are crafted. I mean, there are great songs. They're not just songs with melodies. They're great songs, and they're really well crafted. And of course, you're a graduate of Columbia College, which is a tremendous program. But where do those chops come from for you?
I don't know. It's weird. Songwriting is one of the many art forms, I guess, that they don't teach it in college. You can't learn about, maybe you can nowadays, but it didn't used to be. You can't learn it. You don't get a degree in songwriting. You don't go to Juilliard School of Songwriting. It's kind of
Right.
like, look back on like Bob Dylan. Like Bob Dylan, one of the greatest songwriters of all time, and he was just a guy. It's like you're born with. I think everybody's born with the ability to be a songwriter, but growing up around my dad, just knowing that it's possible, he was such an inspiration for me. Like, um, just seeing him do what he loved to do every day, never have to work a day in his life. I was like, you know, I can do that. And there was a time where I maybe thought, maybe I would be an engineer, a producer, or a professional skateboarder, and maybe screw songwriting. But it kind of just creeps back up me, like I don't know. And it comes out. The best song ideas come out when you least expect them, and you better have your phone or a pen ready to record them or write them down.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm thankful you did. I'd love to watch you skateboard, but hearing you,
Yeah.
hearing this record special, it really is. Um, to the name, is it hard to be Colin Peterik and not Jim Peterik's son? To have your own identity, because I've talked to Simon Collins, Phil Collins' son, and I've talked to Oliver Wakeman, Rick Wakeman's son, and they are comfortable with it. They feel like they've established their own identity. But that's a huge shadow that it seems to, you're coming out of. Is that
Yeah.
ever difficult for you?
No, I think it's one and the same. I'm myself, but I'm also my dad's son at the same time, as obvious as that might sound. Um, but I guess what I'm trying to say is, me being myself is the only person I can be comfortable being. Like, I've tried to go by, various stage names throughout my career. I'm 32 years old, so I've been doing this for quite a while. My first bands were in high school. We've been, a band called the Mike Hancock Seven, where nobody in the band was named Mike Hancock, and there were only five of us.
Right, right.
I, my progressive rock band in high school was called Lobster Newberg. and then I had a band called Funbrella, and then I went by CJ for a while. And so these pseudonyms and band names, I kind of get discouraged, and I'm like, oh, is that even like, it's not palatable to me anymore. I don't feel inspired by the name. So I have to go by got my birth name just to guarantee myself that I'll keep going. You know what I mean? rather than like, it can't be a failed artistic experiment if I go by Colin Peterik.
Right, right.
So I kind of forced myself into this solo artist thing just to keep going down that path, no matter what.
Yeah, yeah. Was there any hesitation to, to use the name, and that not, a hesitation that you would be in this certain
Well, no, I
spot?
mean, listen, Peterik, my dad, um, prolific songwriter. He has 20 top 40 hits, but he's not a household name. It's not like my dad is, Brad Paisley, or not even like Johnny Depp, some guy with a last name that you instantly recognize.
Right.
Um, so the upshot is that everyone who does know my dad, he's such a genuine person, such a great person. He's nice to everybody. Everybody has nothing but good things to say about him. So I'm in good company. If anybody recognizes my last name, it's only a good thing.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's, you're following in the footsteps for sure. I see great songs coming from you as well. You are an avid skateboarder. The skating community has a certain vibe and pulse to it.
Yeah.
Uh, I think of skate punk, no effects, Pennywise, Goldfinger type stuff.
Hmm.
It was that, did the life, so first of all, does the lifestyle make its way into your music at all? When skateboarders are skateboarders, they're all hardcore,
Hmm. Hmm.
um does that ever make it into your music? And did you ever feel a desire to go the route of the skate punk sound?
Well, it's weird. It's like not necessarily the culture, but the attitude. For me, skateboarding is all about not asking questions and just doing it. And taking risks and asking for forgiveness and not for permission. It's about hopping fences and jumping on rooftops. And I used to climb up on my elementary school roof with my buddies and skate. And we might have killed ourselves if it was the wrong day, or we stepped on that thing over there the wrong way. And we
Right.
were idiots. So I think of skateboarding as an art form, just like music. And you have to be willing to take risks, or else nobody's gonna pay attention to it.
Mhm.
And so that was my first kind of love. Was the other thing is, viewing the world as a skateboarder. It's like suddenly you see stairs, and you don't just see stairs to walk up and down. You see stairs, and you can jump down them. You can try to jump up them. If there's a handrail, you can go down the handrail. You can go this way, that way, this way. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
And so it's about viewing your environment from a different lens. And that's exactly how songwriters view their environment, from a totally different lens.
Oh, that's a man, that is great. I don't even think about that kind of thing. Yeah, I mean that
Right.
makes complete sense. Um, on this record, you have a Grammy-winning Craig Bauer
Hmm.
uh mixing the record. How much influence does a guy like that have? I mean, we're talking about, Kanye West. This It's a major player. This guy has a way of doing things. Um, how much influence did he have on the overall sound of the record?
He had so much that I would, almost say he was like a co-producer. Like, and granted, he lives in Denver. His studio's in Denver. I haven't even met him, but we would talk on the
Yeah.
phone every single day, and Zoom call and stuff like that. And he's just brilliant. But I would send him these Pro Tools sessions with the next song, and sometimes these sessions would have 150 tracks on them. And he'd send me back the first mix, the rough mix or whatever, his first pass, and I would be blown away, and there would be 10 things missing. And you know what I said? I said nothing. I'm like, good, they're missing. You took them out. They didn't belong there. So by virtue of him just getting rid of stuff, that input is invaluable, because me unfettered with my, with time and toys and keyboards and guitars and Pro Tools and unlimited takes, sometimes I go off the deep end and go crazy, and he kind of knows how to scale it back and and kind of boil it down to its key elements. And so I'm forever grateful that he was involved in this. And beyond the fact that the mixes sound incredible, the way that he was able to underdub some tracks and improve the arrangements was also a huge element of this sound.
Yeah, yeah, and that was my next question is, did your ideas change, once you started working with him? Seeing what he was doing to the tracks, and you get them back, and they're just better and scaled down, and did you start to write differently?
Yeah, I think, I was going to say earlier, like songwriting is a beast of a of an endeavor. Like nobody's good at it at first, and everyone always asks like, how do you write a good song? And the classic response is, well, you have to write 100 bad songs and then 100 more bad songs, and then maybe by your 200th song you'll write a good one. So you definitely get better at it as you go. And the other thing that you get better at as you go is the production side of things. And I think when we're younger, we try to just throw everything into the pot and set it to boil, like, every single ingredient. But as I'm diving into these more like mature bands, Steely Dan and recently Prefab Sprout and especially XTC, which I'm extremely crazy about right now,
Mhm.
I'm kind of getting the sense that subtlety is the answer. And so I'm trying to incorporate more subtle production techniques. And I think any mixing engineer would agree that the more room for the primary ingredients in the stew, the better the mix is going to sound.
Yeah, yeah, and you mentioned XTC, and that's, I see similarities, in Andy Partridge writing in that pop sensibility is there's a lot of that here,
Hmm.
mixed with that accomplished jazzy thing is sensational. It's really great. Jack and Jill is what I go to immediately when I think about that. It's just gorgeous. It's lush, and just wonderful stuff. Um, now you brought in guests and things like that, but you play keyboard, you play drums on half the record. Uh, any other things? You play guitar?
Yeah, I do play guitar. Mostly, campfire. I'll write a lot of songs on guitar. I can't solo at all, but I oftentimes go to the guitar to start songs. I'll strum an open G and just, what does that feel like? What does that feel like? So yeah, and I did a lot of the overdubs on the album with like acoustic guitar. But for the solos and stuff, I brought in my buddies and friends and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's cool. You got a song called Michiana on the
Hmm.
record. I believe it closes the record. Uh,
Yes.
so love the song. It reminds me of the classic Smokey Robinson Motown sound. Was there an intentional homage to that? I know you grew up with that as an influence. It's so strong here, and it's so cool the way you do it when you bring it into the song. Was that an intentional homage?
Absolutely. I think my big inspiration for that song was Burt Bacharach
Mm,
and his luscious arrangements. And I kind of always wanted to do like a pocket symphony, like a 3.5 minute song that goes all over the place and has strings, horns, background vocals, percussion. Like there's 16, 18 different heartbeats on that song. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And
yeah,
just the fact that it's all packed into a song that's less than 4 minutes, it felt like a major accomplishment for me to be able to do that. And I'm glad that it came across as that Motown. Yeah, because it does have that kind of, smooth, soulful kind of vibe. And
ah,
yeah, that song is really cool. I also love putting it as the last song. Some of my favorite albums, they end with a bang, and then you think it's over, and then there's like a little reprieve where the last song comes on and it's a totally different vibe, and it just makes you want to start the record over again.
Yeah, and that's it. Yeah, and that is totally it. It's this really strong song, but it's also something that brings everything full circle. I think,
Hmm.
there's a lot of, like you say, there's a lot involved with that song, and it all works. And you're getting a little taste of everything. It's really, really great stuff. Is there a song on the record that I know you just said that you really love that song. Is there a song that sits a little closer to your heart than the rest?
Let me think. Um, well, probably one of my favorite choruses I've ever written is on the song "Kill 'Em with Kindness,"
Hmm.
which is so I wrote a big medley. It's kind of like the big centerpiece of this album, and it's the title track is "Everything and Nothing." And the song starts off with everything and nothing, and then it transitions into "Kill 'Em with Kindness," and then it concludes with "Only Light Ahead of Us." And it's separated into three separate tracks on the album because I wanted "Kill 'Em with Kindness" to be a single. But you can listen to it back to back to back, and it's like a 13-minute song. And so this was kind of the impetus of this whole album coming together. And I was coming off of a really bad case of writer's block, and this kind of all just came to me like a flood. And I was like, this is the thing I need to cap off the album, because I was sitting at 9 songs, and I was like, it's kind of, I could release it as like a long EP or a short LP. And then this came along, and I was like, okay, this is a proper album now. I'm really excited about it. So, "Kill 'Em with Kindness" is the best advice I've ever heard. If you want someone to just be nice to people. If someone's mean to you and you're nice to them, they will realize late at night how much of an a-hole
Right.
they've been.
Yeah.
And you don't have to do anything. So
Yep.
I like having songs with, like, thinly veiled advice in them. I think it's kind of quirky and funny, and I think people respond really well to that song, and it means a lot to me. It's easy to sing lyrics and easy to memorize lyrics when they come from your heart, and that's how I try to write.
Yeah. Awesome. It shows for sure. Yeah, that's a great sequence in the album too. To put it right in that centerpiece, and I'm an old school guy. I love the ebb and flow of a full record. And that really happens here. It's a great kickoff song with Smile. Um, you know, it has that full record feel. Um, Two of the most popular songs you've released as singles, um, My Secrets and Cocaine Nights. Now these are more of the hip hop groove to them. They sit a little bit differently. Of course, those are the biggest draw.
Right.
It's
So far.
so far, right? And I see that where that would be a huge draw because that is what is sitting at the top of the charts mostly now. Um, do you ever have a concern about being too diverse? Because somebody who gets the record for Cocaine Nights, is there ever a concern that they might be slightly disappointed that they don't get more of that Cocaine Nights vibe?
Well, I'm not concerned, but my manager sure is.
Right.
To answer your question, that if you get into songwriting for for the goal of making a bunch of people, for other people's contentness or making a bunch of money, you're doing it for the wrong reasons. So I like to have, and like I said, I songwriting is hard. I'm not like sitting down trying to like what am I going to write today? I'm pulling this stuff out from thin air. So I take the ideas that I think are the best, the ones that stick in my head night after night, and I track them down, and I make demos of them. And if some of them sound like contemporary alternative rock, then great. Maybe those songs will get me on the charts, and maybe that'll be like a gateway drug into the rest of my music. Because at the end of the day, it's still my voice and my lyrics and my production aesthetic that is very consistent throughout the whole thing. So maybe I turn people, some, hip hop and alternative rock fans, onto some other types of music. And if I can do that, then that's great,
Yeah, it
you
is.
know?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, you have your own studio, the Jam Lab. Is that where you are right now?
Yes, it is.
All right. It's beautiful, obviously, as everybody can see. Um, will you take on other artists and produce other artists?
Yeah.
There we go. All right. Did you get that question? You know,
Yeah,
okay.
I did.
Okay.
I have been for the past 15 years, and it's been a lot of fun. But right now, my project is kind of my priority. So unless something comes my way that's very exciting and makes sense for me to do, career wise, financial wise, whatever, family, I'm also splitting my time between my family, which is a huge priority for me right now. So the outside production thing is kind of on the back burner. But like I said, yeah, if something comes my way that makes sense and I'm excited by it, then I'll do it for sure.
Excellent. Excellent. If you could sit down with any living person and have a conversation, who would that be? You snap your fingers and have anybody in front of you and have a conversation.
Andy Partridge.
Andy Partridge. There you go. Yeah,
Andy Partridge,
you're feeling
XTC.
that
Yes.
XTC thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I feel like we would have a lot to talk about. He kind of writes the same way I write. He has like synesthesia. I don't know how to synesthesia. Synesthesia. Whatever. Have you heard of that?
It sounds familiar. I'm
Yeah.
it's not coming to me. What
It's where so um sounds that you perceive bring visual stimuli in your
okay.
brain. So you hear a certain chord and you think brown, or you hear a certain chord and you think, oh, bananas on the beach, or
Right.
you hear a certain rhythm and you're like, oh, that sounds like whatever. So he kind of sits down at a guitar and strums like an ugly chord and starts writing about the very first thing that he thinks about.
Oh, wow.
And
It's
that
cool.
that's a cool way to do it. And if you go back and listen to a lot of XTC's lyrics, you'll realize just how, you know beautiful they are, but also idiosyncratic and esoteric. Like
Yeah.
he's writing about things that only kind of relate in his mind. And I think he's a genius. And the more I've been getting into him, the more, and he's hilarious. If you ever watch interviews with him, he's just hilarious. And so I'd love to meet him, but love to meet all my heroes. Donald Fagen, one
Mhm.
of my biggest heroes.
Yeah.
And who else? I mean,
Dozens, right?
dozens of people. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Andy Partridge. That was
Patty Macklin. Yeah. Patty Macklin, Prefab Sprout, another one of my
yeah.
heroes.
Yeah. Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
Will we see you on tour? Is that something you're thinking about? Supporting this record, it comes out tomorrow. Uh,
Hmm.
people are gonna want to see this come alive on the
Yes.
stage. Is that something you're interested in doing?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think we're going to be marketing this record and in all different markets all across the US and in Europe. And then we'll cook up some plans and we'll go where the demand takes us. Because I you know I I've got the band, we've got the material ready to go. The show, we've done a couple shows, just like little test runs, and it rocks. So yeah, we're gonna be hitting the road. Check out colinpeterik.com for all the news about that.
Yeah, very, very cool. Everything and Nothing comes out tomorrow. People are gonna love this, man. ColinPeterik.com for everything else. Colin, it's been a blast, man. Let's do it again. You got videos. The video just came out, right?
Yeah, which one? There's several videos on. The most recent one is uh what is the most recent one?
Lessons
Well,
I've learned, maybe.
no, that hasn't even come out yet.
Okay, I thought that, yeah, I thought I saw something about because it came out recently. Um, yeah, I'm not sure. But
But we I do
there's quite
I
a
do
few.
have a video for Everything and Nothing, the 13-minute long epic. It's coming out as a full video, the all three songs, and that'll be coming out in
Right.
about 2 weeks.
Oh, really
So
nice.
keep your eyes peeled for that. Yes.
Yeah, that's wow. That is a big undertaking right there.
It is. It's like very we did the whole thing in this like entire 360 green screen dome, and it's going to be like this cool like spinning psychedelic, really
Oh, it's
really cool vibe.
that's cool because I'm watching, and videos just fascinate me now, because I mean what you're doing, like the Michiana video, with skateboarding, and there's the drone footage kind of thing, the overhead, and it's just it's just so fitting. It's
Yeah.
so cool.
Quick,
Yeah.
yeah, quick shout out to the director Alex Zarek, who I've been working with now for about a year. He's done all my videos, and he's just a genius. And thank you for continuing to work with me, Alex. Love you, man.
Yeah, man, and Alex does a wonderful job. Really cool videos, and I'm really looking forward to the that epic piece in the middle there, man.
Thank you. Yes.
That's cool. All right, man. I'll let you go. Get back to work there. Write the next
Yeah.
record for us. All
Working
right.
on it. Working on it.
Yeah,
Thank you,
fantastic.
man. Great
All
talking to you.
right. You too. Take care, bud.
All right.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.